of the best bowlers in the world go for the $27,000 first prize in the Brunswick Memorial World Open from the Northern Bowl in Glendale Heights, Illinois. Qualifying first, Mike Albee. He's broken the single-season money record. He's the defending World Open title holder. Steve Cook, the big man from California, Albee's brother-in-law. He goes for his 9th PBA championship. Tom Baker, 31-year-old veteran from Buffalo, making his second appearance in the stepladder finals in the last 3 weeks. Pete Weber, like Albee, he's broken the single-year money record. He's in the finals for the 3rd consecutive week. Gary Skidmore tops the $300,000 mark in career earnings this week. He lost to Albee in the finals a year ago.
NBC Sports presents the PBA Fall Tour with your hosts Jay Randolph and Earl Anthony. The PBA Fall Tour is sponsored by Brunswick, making bowling better. By Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By your neighborhood True Value hardware store. And by Ice Blue Aqua Velva, because there's something about an Ice Blue Aqua Velva man.
And a very pleasant good afternoon from Glendale Heights, Illinois, where all this week an international field has been bowling up a storm, and we're happy to have you with us for the finals this afternoon. Jay Randolph along with Hall of Famer Earl Anthony, and what a handful here today.
What a handful is right, Jay. Very experienced, very talented field. Bowler of the Year still on the line. Mike Albee and Pete Weber. It could be very exciting. I know it's going to be exciting. Let's look and see what happens.
And Weber is in the first match this afternoon. He qualified 4th. He's going up against Gary Skidmore.
Leading off the match will be Gary Skidmore on lane 21 here. Lanes 21 and 22 are the championship pair. Gary Skidmore, first shot of the day.
And Skidmore is right there to start things off. Gary averaged 211.6 this week. 6'1", 185 pounds from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
And on lane 22, the very hot and talented Pete Weber. He's got to go a long way today, Jay, to get to Mike Albee.
Petey, just 23 years of age, the son of the Hall of Famer, 5'7", 130 pounds from St. Louis. Nice way to get it started, Earl.
The scores haven't been that good this week, Jay, and it looks like these players are going to change that altogether right here on the championship pair, which has been one of the highest scoring pairs across the center.
27th career championship appearance for Pete, as you saw. On the TV pair this week, he averaged a really remarkable 252.
Even more remarkable when you consider he only averaged about 212 for the tournament.
Well, that's one of the reasons that he's over the $500,000 mark at 23 years of age. The prize money to be passed out here this afternoon by Jim Urbanic, the senior vice president of Brunswick, $27,000 up there on top. 15th career championship round appearance for Skidmore. Skidmore opens with a double.
Gary is the only player in our top 5. We have 2 left-handers on top in Mike Albee and Steve Cook, his brother-in-law. Gary, if Tom Baker is in 3rd, Gary Skidmore is the only player of the 5 that is playing the track area between the 2nd and 3rd arrow with a lot of speed, and that's his style. He likes that. He likes to be able to throw the ball hard, and the track area is hooking this week.
He averaged 205 on the TV pair. And he leaves the 10-pin.
And that's the reason the scores weren't extremely high this week. The players could hit the pocket well. They could keep the ball in the pocket area, but the corner pins were tough to knock down. The right-handers were leaving the 4-pin or the 10-pin. The left-handers the 6-pin or the 7-pin. You see all that speed and rotation on the ball. It looks very good, but it goes right around the neck of the 10-pin. Gary will go cross lane. at the 10 pin. Again, a lot of speed.
Gary won for the 5th time in his career earlier this year in Buffalo. Weber, who has been some kind of hot, his 7th championship round appearance this year. He has 7 PBA titles to his credit. Well, he got a bit of a break there as he was a little high. He's left the 4-pin.
Yeah, good or bad, either way you look at it. The 4-pin can be a very carryable strike angle as far as someone like Pete Weber, that heavy roll as you see the ball coming in from the outside angle. 2-pin goes to the wall, doesn't come back for the 4. Goes cross lane, easy spirit, 2 balls.
Even Steven at this point in the proceedings. And there you see Mike Albee and Pete Weber have broken Earl Anthony's record, the Hall of Famer sitting alongside. And as you indicated, a lot of records broken around here in the next couple of years by these two.
Oh, yeah, lots of talent here, tremendous amount. And as I said earlier, I think they're both on the road to the Hall of Fame.
And the 9-pin is standing for Pete.
Almost exactly the same shot as the shot before, the ball going way out near the channel, coming in, and he trips it. This is the great shot we have for you by NBC. It goes out near the channel, comes in behind the head pin a little bit, breaks very sharply, doesn't kick out the 9.
Weber and Skidmore in this first match. More of the action in just a moment.
Whether you just turned 10 or just turned pro, there's a Brunswick ball built for you. And the weight you need. The colors you want. For pinpoint accuracy. Explosive power. Built to take out pins like a charge of dynamite. That's Brunswick. LT48 GTB and the new laser. See these and our other great bowling balls at your authorized Brunswick dealer.
Bucks for all that you do. You keep America going. You keep the juices flowing. While the muscle, the hope and the hustle, you keep the country growing. And you make America working. This spot's for you. You keep the nation trying. Dream from dying. You're the believer, the fun and the fever. You keep the heart of it flying, 'cause you make America work, and this spot's for you.
Here's to you, Beechwood Age, for that clean, crisp taste that makes Budweiser the king of beer.
You make America work, and this spot's for you.
Pete Weber in the 5th frame. And a strike for Weber. Skidmore, while we were away, striking in the 4th and 5th. And now Weber with a strike in the 5th.
Almost a must strike at this point for Pete. When you consider that Skidmore doubled while we were away and is on that double starting, we're already halfway through the match. Pete with a chance to match that, get within 1 pin of Gary Skidmore with a strike here.
Skidmore up by 11.
At different angles, the players are. We've already talked about Gary Skidmore playing the track area between the 2nd and 3rd arrow. Watch Pete Weber go way out near the channel, and this is what you'll see also from Tom Baker and, of course, the 2 left-handers playing way out.
All right, Weber's hanging in here. Pete, a high game of 278 this week, and a high-angle view, or the low-angle view, I should say.
Watch him plant that left foot, bring the ball well out on the lane, tremendous lift, clear out near the channel, sharp break on the back. Can't do it much better than that. 10 in the pit.
That looked a little high, but he got them all.
Amazing how, with that tremendous speed And the heavy roll that Gary Skidmore gets, he still gets the ball to set up in the pin area. The ball doesn't break very sharply in the back. He tries to play the ball tight in the pocket. Look at the lift, the leverage that he gets, all that speed. You see the ball, it looks like it's going to break, but it sets there. And that's not because of the lanes. That's because of the way he releases the ball and the speed he has on it.
And Skidmore up by 11. He's having a little chat right now with Harry Golden, the tournament director. Skidmore had asked for a re-rack. He said he was bothered by some noise off to the left of us. And Mr. Golden apparently felt he didn't ask for it.
The problem he
enough.
had there, Jay, really is that the player, if he picks up his ball, preparation to step up in the approach, and then looks at the pins and asks for the re-rack, it's automatically denied. That's the rule the PBA has, and that's what Gary did. It was too late then. Again, by the PBA rules, he cannot then get the re-rack if he's already done that. Gary picked his ball up and looked, and then it was too late. Now he has to bowl on what's there. Out, back.
Well, all right. And Healy turns around and says, there. Looks right at Harry Golden. Thought he got the short end of the stick, maybe.
A tradition of holiday values continues with the Christmas gifts and toys catalog from True Value hardware stores. You'll find this Skill cordless screwdriver for just $19.99, including a charging stand. Or give the versatile Master Mechanic two-piece locking plier set only $11.99. For a home hobbyist, choose the Black & Decker two-speed jigsaw, just $24.99. Or this Weller soldering iron kit for only $7.99 from participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
Feel the lather, the scent is brisk. No one does it quite like this. Coach works as hard as you. Coach works as hard as you. Picks you up and pulls you through. It pulls you through. Coach works as hard as you.
An hour from now, there'll be 50,000 fans here, eating, drinking, cheering, and groaning. Some of those fans will leave here not feeling so well. Whether it's heartburn, upset stomach, even diarrhea, they can all take one remarkable medicine for relief. Pepto-Bismol. As it coats, Pepto-Bismol relieves what's wrong, relieves it, then leaves a protective coating behind. Pepto-Bismol. For most common stomach discomforts, the one that coats is the only one you need.
Back here at the Brunswick Memorial World Open, Glendale Heights, Illinois. It was 3 in a row for Weber and then the spare. And, of course, Skidmore has 4 in a row. Gary was visibly upset a moment ago when he didn't get the re-rack, but he got the strike in the 7th. We're in the 8th. Skidmore leading by 12. And Skidmore has left the 5-pin. There is his wife, Sherry Skidmore.
Now, Gary got this ball a little bit wider of his target area, and you can see before the ball was setting up in the pocket, this one set up also because it didn't hook back and he left the 5-pin. That deflection you get caused by all that speed that he throws, but that also is what keeps the ball in the pocket area for him, that tremendous speed.
A very exciting opening match here as Skidmore and Weber are extremely intense. This is a big one, this Brunswick Memorial World Open with that $27,000 first prize. Weber, of course, with the opportunity for Player of the Year. Albee, though, also in the driver's seat in that award category, probably in the number 1 spot.
Crucial shot, 9th frame.
And it is a big strike indeed for Skidmore.
Okay, the way it looks now, you see Skidmore is up by 11 pins. He's bowled through 9 frames on a strike. Pete Weber on a spare in the 8th. Possibility of 247 if he strikes out. That would make Skidmore get at least the first strike in the 10th frame, 9 spare for a tie. We could still have a tie. Pete Weber throwing the ball extremely well.
Pete has cashed in 30 tournaments in 1985
That's a career for some players, Jay.
Yes, sir. Weber responds once more. And his lovely wife, Dee Dee, sitting alongside.
He's been playing catch-up ever since the 4th frame, and he's still in there, 11 frames down, going into the 10th frame. See the high backswing, the trademark of Pete Weber, a tremendous lift and leverage. Now watch how he reacts to this shot. He knew it was a good shot. Yes.
The lead is 11 for Skidmore.
A strike here.
Weber is going to the 10th.
Right, and a strike here would put him within 1 pin. He almost ran out of the building on that one, Jay. He was down 3 or 4 lanes. He knew it was a good shot when he released it, and he was running all the way. Now the key shot. He must have this one to make Skidmore get the first strike. Watch the reaction of Pete Weber as he releases the ball. As soon as he let go, he knew it was good. Watch him take off. Here we go. Exit stage left.
Weber was 10th after the 4th round this week. We had a little different format for this Brunswick Memorial World Open, and Earl and I will chat about that a little later on. Here is Pete Weber.
And he got him! What a break. What a break at a crucial time, and not only in this tournament, in the first match, but in his career.
And Pete has the lead by 9.
Watch the ball. Comes in behind the head pin. He was praying for it to get up. Doesn't quite get there. Gets tremendous pin action. The pin's actually kicked forward. The 2-pin falls forward. What a tremendous break. The reaction of Pete Weber, and you can see Gary Skidmore in the background. He didn't like it too much. Possible 247, and he wants every pin.
Weber's trying to go all the way, and he leaves that 10 pin.
And that could be very costly.
Boy, it could.
Tremendous clutch performance by Pete Weber to finish the match out for 246. They have a possibility of a tie. Gary Skidmore must have the first strike to have any chance to win this match. The first strike would put him in the 240s, and then it would be pin count or obviously another strike to lock up the match. This one, he must have this strike.
Skidmore had an 11-pin lead after 7 frames, and then after 8. But here he is, needing a strike. Does it!
All right, we have a possibility of a tie here. Now, Gary Skidmore, with that strike, is going at a 248 clip. If he were to get 8 spare, we would have a tie and a 2-frame roll-off.
Weber looking up at that scoreboard intently. Possibility of a tie.
9 spare is a winner. A strike is a winner. If he gets 8, we could have a tie. If he gets 7, he will be a loser. 1 ball to determine our first match right here. Intense concentration. All right.
All right.
He needs the spare to be the winner. He must make the 10-pin to win by 1 pin, 247 to 246 over Pete Weber in our opening match.
What a wonderful first match it's been.
And it's not over yet.
Nope.
10-pin isn't the easiest spare in the world, especially when you're bowling on television against Pete Weber.
All right, the victory in a dandy. Skidmore over Weber. Some real high scoring in this first match, as it's Skidmore 247, Weber 246. And it will be Skidmore to move along in just a few moments.
We made a machine that flattens stomachs. We made a machine that strengthens backs and builds chests and arms. The AJ stomach, back, and arm exercise tones and tightens midsections, strengthens important back muscles, develops arms and chests. From AJ, in many models, they do what you need done.
I know I should get more fiber. Can you recommend something? Let me tell you about something really new. Correctol Natural Grain Laxative.
Only new Correctol contains fruit fiber, along with the natural grain fiber doctors recommend most to help keep us regular day after day. No other fiber laxative has fruit fiber. Not Metamucil, not Fiberol.
New Correctol natural grain with fruit fiber. That's for me.
Correctol makes it for us.
Well, an outstanding match here at the Brunswick Memorial World Open in Glendale Heights as Skidmore did the job off the bat by one, and the scoring was very high in this first match.
And I was very surprised, Jay. Even though this particular pair has scored well all week, I was still surprised that the players did this well in the opening match. I don't expect the scores to continue this way. The sad thing is Pete Weber's out of the race for Bowler of the Year at this point with Albee wins. Even so, you got to give credit to Skidmore. He might go all the way.
Let me ask you why you were surprised, huh?
I'm surprised at the scores, you mean? Why I'm surprised at the scores? I'm surprised because normally all week long the player's been leaving the 4-pin or the 10-pin if they're right-handed, 6-pin or 7-pin if they're left-handed, and it's been tough to kick the corners out. They've been averaging 210 to 212 most of the time. This week already on television we've got a 247 to 246. Those are great scores, especially under this kind of pressure. I'm really surprised they're doing that well.
All right, in the next match, of course, Tom Baker from Buffalo will be going up against Skidmore. We'll be back with more of this event right after these messages.
Test pilot Chuck Yeager for AC Delco.
Up here, technology can be fun. Down there, it's a different story. It's where General Motors tests AC Delco parts to make sure they deliver performance and reliability.
AC Delco has a full line of parts for most any car or truck. From Delco batteries, Delco shocks, AC fire ring spark plugs, and AC filters. Help your car pass the test. Get the smart parts from AC Delco.
Call 800 AC Delco for a retailer near you.
Sinus congestion.
I can breathe again.
Ah, the sweet smell of success. Get it with 12-hour Nostrella and Nostro with the one-way spray pump. It delivers a measured dose of penetrating mist every time. Squeeze sprays don't. You can't buy more effective sinus medicine. Ah, the sweet smell of success. Only 12-hour Nostrella and Nostro regular or mild have the one-way pump. It's the most advanced relief you can give your nose.
Success.
Nice day for fishing, Ed. Ever see the shore from 10 miles out? Lucky we got us a Mariner. It's a natural out here. Protected inside and out so it don't corrode. Now, this one will run for years. But the best thing about a Mariner is it always starts when you need it.
I need it. For boating's ups and downs, a Mariner outboard's better in the long run.
If you ain't going to fish, Ed, how about cutting some bait?
The NFL plays here when the Patriots battle the Jets.
Before your team takes the field, our team hits the air. NFL 85.
It's been a big week here at the Brunswick Northern Bowl, and this $150,000 tournament coming to a close this afternoon with our stepladder finals. The 85 Brunswick Memorial World Open honors Edward P. Ned Day. Ned, the legendary bowler from out in Los Angeles, California. And that's his missus right there on the left. Charming lady, Mrs. Frances Lawler. And Ned Day's widow, Ned, who passed away in '71, elected to the ABC Hall of Fame, of course. And he was the bowler of the year in '43 and '44. He won so many titles it would take us all afternoon to talk about him, but he was a great one.
He was, definitely. He was what you would call the, I guess, the Dick Weber of the 20s and 30s and 40s, or the Don Carter of the 50s back in those days.
Or the Earl Anthony of the 70s and 80s. Skidmore opens with a strike.
Skidmore is really being tough today, and I think there's a chance that, as I mentioned earlier, Skidmore might go all the way, only for the reason that he's the only player who is playing the particular shot he's playing. And when Gary gets it going, he's awful tough to beat. He's the only one that can keep that kind of speed up. He's tremendously strong, very powerful player. Tom Baker, first shot, second match of the day.
Baker gets them all. He's just 5'8" and 150 pounds from Buffalo, New York. Has won 5 titles, and it is his second appearance in the championship round in '85. And right there is Lisa Baker.
She's more nervous than Tom is, I'll guarantee you.
2 weeks ago in the Budweiser Open in Taylor, Michigan. Tom was the top-seeded player. Lost to Pete Weber in the finals. A double for Baker, whose high game this week was 290.
Tom Baker has the unique release, different than any of the other players. You see him go around, see the tremendous spin he puts on the ball rolling almost sideways like you'd spin it on a tabletop. The speed control has to be perfect. The ball won't get back to the pocket.
Skidmore's career earnings, as I mentioned, he goes over the $300,000 mark here this week.
There's the result of a little too much speed for Gary Skidmore as he gets to the foul line, and if you watch the release, the ball is going way down the lane very fast. Deflection, see the ball go to the right, leaving the 5-pin. Be an easy spare for Gary.
Gary won his first tournament in Austin back in 1982. And, of course, he placed second here last year. Baker is up by 10. 1-300 game here this week. Our old friend Billy Walden from out in Troy, Missouri.
That's kind of close to St. Louis, isn't it?
Sure is. Billy's been a great competitor over the years.
A lot of great players out of that area.
Strike in the third for Skidmore. You see the pin right there. There's Jack Reichert, the chairman of the board of Brunswick Corporation. He and so many of us believe that bowling belongs in the Olympics, 1988. Those Olympics on NBC Sports, of course, in the
I'd like to go to
fall.
Seoul Korea and stick around over there and see what's going on, wouldn't you?
I'd love it. I'd love it.
Tom Baker on a double, trying to extend his lead. He's 10 pins ahead at this point. Third frame. That soft release, hooking it out and back, and he carries.
Oh, and they scrambled well for him down there.
They sure did, and that's that, as I said, that's that great speed control that Tom has. He doesn't overpower the pins. He spins the ball, see the ball rolling, and then turning very sharply into the pocket area. He gets that great pin action by that sharp break on the ball on the back end.
Baker is up by 20. Baker likes to play the horses, loves to watch hockey.
Maybe that's why he's bowling so good, Jay. He hasn't done too well with the horses recently. What do you think?
Skidmore, very intense this afternoon, trying to come from the 5th position. Only Steve Martin, Mike Durbin, and Mike Albee have done that this year.
Doesn't get the break this time, Jay. That time, almost exactly the same hit he had in the third frame. Pins don't quite react the same way. He leaves a 7-pin. As you see the release, Tom Baker revolving around the side of the ball again. The sharp break in the back a little bit later this time. Probably just a little more speed. Tom will go cross lane for the 7-pin.
And he picks up the spare. A 19-point lead for Baker. And we'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
People magazine says George C. Scott is impressive and imposing. Don't miss Mussolini, The Untold Story, tomorrow.
The continuing adventures of Mel Farr Superstar, fighting high prices to bring you a far better deal.
Yes, use your trade plus $1,000 down and buy this 1983 Pontiac J6000 for only $149 per month. Or buy my used car special of the week, this beautiful little 1983 Escort wagon for only $69 per month. Better deals can I guarantee you $1,000 for your trade or for service to midnight, and they cannot fly either.
Greenfield and 10 Mile.
Everybody needs a helping hand sometimes. That's the reason
Call Big Brothers Big Sisters, 569-0600.
The ABC Warehouse Microwave Miracle. Sunday, the Silver Dome. This tap-in full-power microwave, only $96 or less. It's as easy as ABC. ABC Warehouse.
Eli Zaret on sports weeknights on News 4 at 5 and 11.
Memorial World Open was first held in Akron, Ohio back in 71. It was won by Don Johnson. He also won it in 72.
Oh, he's one of the toughest players I ever bowled against on the tour, Don Johnson.
And Baker bangs them down in the 5th.
Tommy is really smooth today. Tom Baker is hitting the foul line extremely well. He's making excellent shots. If he can keep that up, he's going to really be a factor when it comes down to the championship.
He averaged 212.7 this week. His high game was 290, and on the TV pair, an average of 219.
Chance to extend his lead. This is his 6th frame, up by 12 pins. Could make it 22 with this strike. He's a very fidgety player, trying to get that feel, that perfect feel. As you see him fidgeting with the ball, trying to get his hand set just right. Once he gets set, look how smooth.
And the 10.
And the 10 on one of his best shots of the day right there.
Earl, I mentioned we had a different format here this week as we look again at this low-angle view that NBC is providing for our viewers. There's super slow-mo, great shot here. But the different format this week, a little more grueling competition.
It is. This format, as opposed to our normal 42-game format, is 56 games. The bowlers start qualifying on Monday. They go all through the week. Normal 24 players in match play starting on Thursday morning. But all week long, they bowl 56 games to determine the top 5.
There were 15 foreign entries here this year from 8 different countries, as this is a very interesting event here with the worldwide participation. The commissioner of the PBA Tour hidden there right behind Skidmore, Joe Antonora, in from Akron, Ohio. He avoided a split.
Big break there for Gary, and it's back-to-back bad shots. He's having a little trouble. It looks like he's getting a little fast with his feet, and if anything goes wrong with Gary Skidmore's game, that's normally what it is. He's got to slow those feet down so that he gets to the foul line set. And anytime you throw as much speed on the ball as Gary, and make any mistake with your approach pattern, it can create a lot of problems.
Mark Roth, 5th heading into last night's position round game, lost to Skidmore in a dandy and just missed being in the number 5 spot.
Needed a strike. Mark Roth did. Left it solid 10-pin. A very, very good shot as normal for Mark Roth in a crucial situation. Didn't get the strike, and that's why you see Gary Skidmore here today. He bowled tremendously well the last 8 games, did Gary Skidmore. Another break.
7, yep.
Another big break. Now, it's 3 in a row that Gary's had that same problem. He's getting there a little fast with his feet, and sometimes it's hard to know that when you're out there bowling, and you can see it if you're watching, but you can't really feel it. You feel comfortable, and you see the ball going through the middle of the head pin. Could have had the wide open split, but very fortunate, left only the 7.
And he just did get there with that one. He slipped a little. He is down by 15. We'll have more in a moment.
I'm walking,
Neither snow nor rain,
and jogging,
nor heat of day,
and running,
nor gloom of night can stop you now from exercise.
'cause it's so good for me. I'm walking,
The AJ-TM Pacer
and jogging,
and the AJ Trimline Treadmill.
and running,
Always there so you always exercise.
'cause it's so good for me.
AJ, motorized treadmills for the home. Now, nothing can stop you.
'Cause it's so good for me.
When the big Q flows, America goes.
Still beautiful, Dad.
Took your brother through college, take you wherever you want to go.
On Quaker State.
Right. Smooth oil flow is what you want. Protects the engine. See, Quaker State starts with Pennsylvania-grade crude. Delivers stable viscosity.
You get great protection with the Big Q.
Hey, how come you know so much?
From listening to you.
Quaker State. The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will.
Working closely with people, I'm always concerned about my smoker's breath. But when I heard about a smoker's mouthwash, I said, oh, sure. Then I heard it was from Topol, so I said, oh, sure.
New Topol Smoker's Mouthwash with Xantrate eliminates smoker's breath on contact. Tests prove it neutralizes the odor of sulfur compounds and protects against tobacco-stained breath for hours.
Look, who knows more about smokers' problems than Topol?
New Topol Smoker's Mouthwash eliminates smoker's breath on contact.
Strikes by Baker now in the 7th and 8th, and a lead of 25 as Skidmore is set to go in the 8th on lane 22.
Gary already in a must-strike situation. There's that timing back. A little slower at the feet. Got the ball well out on the lane. Didn't set it short. Got the strike. Gary Skidmore, possible 234. Going into the 9th frame now on a strike. There's a possibility if he goes all the way with strikes for 234. Tom Baker going at a 229 clip. So Gary Skidmore obviously needs all the strikes he can get right now.
Sherry Skidmore.
She knows what it's about. She's a fine bowler in her own right. Close to a 200 average bowler.
The solid 10.
Gary didn't like that shot. You could see by his reaction he wasn't happy with it. Gary's timing just isn't quite as good as it was against Pete Weber. You can see the ball well out in the lane. He's just not getting to the foul line consistently the same way, and that's the most important part of the game. You have to get to the foul line the same way every time in order to release the ball the same way every time. Tom Baker with a strike in the 9th frame can lock up the match.
He is very much in the driver's seat. Last year he qualified for the TV finals only once. He finished 4th in Seattle. All right. Baker very much in business.
Very much, with a 35-pin lead going into the 10th frame. Any kind of a mark, and he's a definite winner. Even good count should lock up the match for Tom Baker.
And Mrs. Baker likes it at this point.
Yes, she does.
There's the situation. 35-pin lead.
Now we still have a match.
Yes.
Tom wants to make it exciting, I guess. Not really. I'm sure he's not very happy with that. Now, the reason that ball skidded out like it didn't quite get back because he overspun. He went too much around. See how his thumb went almost around the ball completely? The ball is spinning all the way down the lane. Barely gets the head pin, doesn't get the pin action he was getting earlier. It never went into a roll.
Wondering whether he was trying to be a bit too careful.
The tendency is for the player to get overcautious sometimes. There's the winner right there, Joe.
Big smile for Tom Baker, and he'll advance to match number 3 and go against the big man, Steve Cook. So it was Pete Weber winning $5,000. Skidmore picks up $6,500, and we'll be back with more from Glendale Heights in a moment.
There's a new predator on the water. Quick, smooth, and sure. Graphite light. Graphite strong. New Pro Staff from Zebco. Perfectly matched reels and rods, each with a touch of graphite where it's needed most, for strength and sensitivity. Balanced fishing tackle. Pro Staff, designed to do one thing. Give you the edge. With Pro Staff from Zebco, the predator is you.
Introducing the Kodak Teledisc for great color shots from here to here. You can take a picture just like this, or bring the action closer with the Teledisc. One little push, and as easy as this, you're closer with the Teledisc. Fans, the new Kodak Teledisc camera with telephoto lens gives you great regular shots, or gets you as close as this. Incredible! So the next time you score, we'll see a lot more, because we'll get you with the Teledisc. Yes!
holiday special. Buy a Riuniti Magnum and save $2 now. A great gift.
Back at the Brunswick Northern Bowl in Glendale Heights, Illinois for this $150,000 Brunswick Memorial World Open. There's the final score, 235 for Baker, 212 for Skidmore. And Earl, I'm wondering, Skidmore losing his consistency after that wonderful first match.
I think the adrenaline really got flowing there for a while with Gary. You remember the reaction he had to our tournament director, Harry Golden, which when that happens a lot of times, it's hard for the player to get back on an even keel. And it looked like Gary's feet got a little fast, and that was his problem during that second match against Tom Baker.
Coming up, you're going to see one of the strong men, Mr. Baker. He is something special.
They don't get any stronger than that. 6'7", 270. It's going to be exciting watching him against a little guy like Tom Baker.
Well, as we always like to do, we bring you up to date on the top 24 players in the tournament. And, of course, this week here at the Northern Bowl in Glendale Heights, it was Mr. Miller.
Yeah, the former Las Vegas champion. And, of course, Mike Bouvier, who's the son of Hall of Famer Gloria Bouvier. Warren Nelson, the PBA national champion in 1978. And, of course, John Forrest, who had an injury problem this week that dropped him down in the standings.
Rowdy Morrow from my part of the world, St. Louis. Chris McClellan, another St. Louisan in there. Jimmy Certain, the veteran performer. And Randy Certain won 1900 out of Milwaukee.
Steve Fair, who's the Randy Stoughton. We got to go with Stoughton. Stoughton, okay. And then Steve Fair, of course, the two-time champion coming back. And Ron Palumbo Jr., who is a very strong player. He's won at Tucson last year. And Walter Ray Williams, who is a three-time world horseshoe pitching champion, still looking for his first title. And Mark Baker, of course, in his 20th finals this year, leader on the tour in that category.
Ernie Schlegel bowled well here and went home to be with his wife, Kathy, on a wedding anniversary. Ricky Sajak, he's been in a little slump, but going better. And my statistician, the best there is, Chuck Pierce, got himself 3,000. Mark Fay from Chicago did well here this week.
Don Janello, he's a newlywed, and his wife Mary, and they have another very good year going out here. Dave Husted, of course, qualified 24th, needed a strike in the 10th frame to make the telecast. And everybody knows who that is. Mark Roth, he's a four-time player of the year, just missed.
And some of the other finishers, Marshall Holman in the race for Bowler of the Year, but hasn't done much a couple of weeks. 31st. Wayne Webb finished 54th. 55th, Mark Williams. Dick Weber, home watching Pete today. And Johnny Petraglia was here. He finished 134th. Another person who is here with us today at the Northern Bowl is the curator of the Bowling Hall of Fame and Museum in St. Louis. If you're getting to St. Louis sometime and would like to see the Bowling Hall of Fame, it's a beautiful, beautiful place to enjoy a few hours. It's just to the northwest side of Bush Memorial Stadium in downtown St. Louis. I'm reminded, Earl, that the PBA has increased their giving to the Hall of Fame to $50,000 to help continue the wonderful work that Bruce and his people are doing there. It's really a great, great spot.
It is. It's a wonderful place to visit. They have some really outstanding artifacts from going back to when bowling first started, right back with the Egyptians, right on through today.
And now it is Baker against Steve Cook.
Baker will be starting the match on the left-hand lane. Baker's timing seems to be extremely well today. As you watch, see how he fidgets with the ball, trying to get that perfect feel before he goes to the foul line. Slow and smooth, but a lot of turn.
A strike to start things off for Tom Baker.
And his timing is really good today, Jay. He is really rolling the ball extremely well, much more so than he did a couple of weeks ago when he was the tournament leader.
Baker 235 to 212 over Skidmore. Cook qualified second with a 215 tournament average this week. 241.5 on the TV pair. Steve with a strike. His high game was a 268. Homie's lost a little weight. He's down to 268.
From 270, huh? Well, at 6'7" and 270, and it's a good thing it's not an arm wrestling championship out there as opposed to bowling, because talent-wise, he's one of the best, but he matches up very well with Tom Baker. They're both very talented, so it should be a good match.
Well, the PBA is listing him at 250 these days, but it's like some of the heights on the basketball players, I suppose.
One of the most powerful rolling bowling balls ever.
Well, Chicago has the Refrigerator Perry, and of course, the PBA Tour has Steve Cook, the man they call the Cookie Monster.
Okay, Steve got that ball out near the channel. You'll see both left-handers playing way out near the channel today, and the ball didn't quite make it back. Steve a little tentative early in the match. He's usually a very aggressive player. As a matter of fact, when he starts running them out, don't get in his way. Tough spare. The 3, 6, 10. And he got a break. It's not the way he wanted to cover that one. He wanted that ball to fit between the 3 and the 6, and he got it to the outside. Got the break. He got to kick the pins off the wall.
There's the president of the American Bowling Congress, the rule-making body of the sport, Paul Mohn.
Mr. Fidget.
Mike Albee has qualified first, and the Player of the Year award, given by the Sporting News, of course, very much on his mind, although he'd say he's just going to go out there and try to do his best. But he, along with Weber and Holman, going to the wire. It's been a most interesting fall tour, and we'll continue next week, of course, in Columbus, Ohio, with the $150,000 Budweiser Classic. Baker starts with a turkey.
Boy, does he look tough. Now, big Steve Cook, down by 20 already, and it's only his third frame. As I said before, a very aggressive player, Steve Cook. When he gets it going, he'll be all over that approach, running him out, jumping up and down, clapping those hands. But he's got to get started soon. Don't want to let Baker get too far away.
And the 7 is standing. It's Steve's 4th championship round appearance of the year. He ended a victory drought almost 2 years this summer when he and brother-in-law Mike Albee captured the Showboat doubles.
See the ball come in behind the head pin. The deflection really wasn't rolled as well as Steve normally rolls the ball. The ball doesn't usually deflect that much, and that was what they called the weak 7 pin, whereas the pin laid in the channel next to the 7 pin instead of going up and around or taking it out. Steve is not the best spare shooter on the tour. And if he has any problems with a lot of 7 pins today, I wouldn't be surprised if he might miss 1 or 2, so he has to throw strikes.
He's already down 21 pins.
When you throw as many strikes as a Steve Cook, he doesn't think too much about spares. He doesn't have to shoot very many very often.
Won the Firestone Tournament of Champions in '81, and he won that one, of course, with his brother-in-law, Mike Albee. And a strike in the 4th for Cook. More action from Glendale Heights, Illinois in a moment.
Excuse me, any Christmas gifts under $10?
Our Ace November Best Buys. This Chicago Cutlery Gourmet Knife Set is only $9.77. What a bargain.
And these Noma 100 mini light sets are just $4.44.
Oh, I'll take 2. Or the Coffee at a Touch Thermal Carafe, just $9.77. Great idea.
There are lots more great ideas in the Ace $1 billion celebration circular.
I've got a long list, and Ace is the place.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware man.
That chili you had for dinner has just started a 3-alarm fire inside you. Alka-Seltzer to the rescue. Alka-Seltzer goes to work instantly to take the burn out of your heartburn and also quiet the sirens in your head. So when your body is sending you smoke signals, send Alka-Seltzer to the rescue and put out the fire fast.
Alka-Seltzer to the rescue.
Brill cream, a little dollop will do ya.
Dab.
Not this. New Brill cream mousse. A little dollop gives my hair soft, natural control all day.
New Brill Cream Men's Grooming Mousse.
Brill cream, a little dollop will do ya.
Huh.
You're wearing this because of your new secretary.
Me? New improved ice blue aqua velva cools better, makes my face feel great.
But that scent, it's sinful.
Lasts longer, too.
There's something about an ice blue aqua velva, man.
This fall, NBC Sports has a November to remember when heart-pounding excitement returns to the greens. Where one putt could be worth $450,000. Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, Tom Watson, and Fuzzy Zeller play the Skins game. Now that's a November to remember on NBC.
Jay Randolph with Earl Anthony. We like to play the Skins game, but not for $35,000 over the last 6 holes. Each hole worth $35,000 and $450,000 for that tournament. Boy, oh boy. Cook was doing a little clowning here. He borrowed a cigar from a gentleman here. This is the biggest cigar I've ever seen. He's already celebrating. A little moment of humor as we get set to continue play. And Baker is up by 21.
On 3 in a row in the 4th frame. Chance to extend his lead to 31 pins.
A little high.
And as so often happens, after the players wait through that short commercial break, they tend to get a little slow with the shot, and Tom did on that one. He was just a little slow with the release of the ball as far as ball speed itself is concerned. You can see that perfect form at the foul line, but the ball broke very sharply on the back, went through the middle of the head pin, got away with only the 610. Cross lane for the spare. A lot of spin, keep the ball from breaking, and he chopped it. Picked the 6 right off the 10. We all right back into a big match here again, a very close, tight match. From a tremendous lead down to almost an even match.
His lead is 7 as his wife looks up there at the scoreboard. He is open here in the 4th. There are the results so far today in our stepladder finals. Baker has not won a title since 1982 when he won the AM Grand Prix over in Paris.
Right back with the good shot.
Yes, indeed.
Well, we'll have to wait and see if that could have been a disastrous 4th frame for Tom Baker, but right now it gave Steve Cook the opportunity to take the lead in the match with a strike here in Steve's 5th frame. Up on the right-hand lane, lane 21 and 22 are the championship pair here.
Baker up by 7 pins. Cook looking down that lane. And a strike for Cook in the 5th.
And a big break for big Steve Cook right there because the ball crossed over the head pin. I guess for a left-hander you'd call that a New York hit instead of a Brooklyn hit. Crossed over the bridge. As you watch Steve Cook, he bounces to the foul line. He's very light on his feet for a big man. Tremendous leverage on the shot. He didn't like the shot when he released it, but he got the big break. You see the reaction. On a double on the left-hand lane, lane 21.
The Dancing Bear from California.
The Dancing Bear. Here we go for 3 in a row.
That's got to come.
Ooh. And it's amazing how fast they get even with you. You know, you get a good break on one lane when he crossed over and got the strike. He made, in his mind, he's you know, what goes through your mind is, I'm going to make my good shot anyway. I'm not going to think about the last one. But he got up there, and he actually threw the ball just a little harder, trying to make sure he didn't do the same thing again or get in trouble. And the ball did not grip the lane, kept going directly through the 2-pin. A very difficult spare. There's 2 ways to make this. He can fit it between the 1 and the 4-pin, or he can try to cross it and pick it up much as you would the washout. Let's see what Steve tries to do here. He's going to try to bounce it. Didn't get the bounce. Players are trading breaks here, Jay. It's back and forth.
How would you have gone at that spare?
I would have tried to cross it. In other words, make the ball cross over in front of the head pin, have the head pin take out the 4 and the 7. Steve tried to make the ball bounce and with a lot of speed to get the reaction he wanted.
Baker up by 15. He was open in the 4th. Now Cook is open in the 6th.
A little high on this lane last time, and you see the adjustment. He sent it wider, got it back, got the strike.
The 7 was a little slow to leave.
There again, that's what goes through the player's mind. They make those adjustments almost automatically. You see that great reaction by the ball as it went down the lane. Tom Baker making the reaction from the high hit on that lane last time. Made sure he didn't do the same thing twice in a row. 25-pin lead for Tom Baker going into the 7th frame. Could make it 35 with a strike on lane 21.
Baker strikes in the 7th, leads by 35, and we hope you're enjoying the action. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Tonight, Hunter and Dee Dee get the drop on a dirty politician.
Can't hold on much longer.
Until an all-night stakeout makes them more than partners. Tonight.
At noon in Pontiac, we're giving you the we've got. You get it all. You get it all. Dealing at noon in Pontiac. You get more, so much more. Just take that drive and you'll be sure. You get the best, not like the rest. When you're at noon in 9 big acres. 'Cause we're giving you the best we've got.
On Van Dyke and 18.5 Mile Road in Sterling Heights.
When you order a party tray, what's important? Freshness. At Farmer Jack, we make your tray to order just in time for your party. Variety. Over 20 different trays to choose from. Quality. We use the finest meats, cheeses, homemade salads, and desserts. Call or visit Farmer Jack. We'll help you decide on the right size tray. Then you choose from the delicious assortment. But I warn you, it won't be easy.
Well, you can get different reactions from people who are watching the action. How about this, Earl?
Well, what a great reaction. She's pulling for it, and Cook wasn't very happy at all.
Lisa Baker behind Big Steve Cook.
Steve's in a lot of trouble right now, down by 35 pins. It's getting late in the match. Tom Baker on 3 in a row. Steve on an open here in the 7th frame.
He won his first title in the '79 Ford Open at Alameda, California. Cook has left the 4-7 here in the 7th.
Steve, like a lot of the players today, is going to switch bowling balls. He'll go to a ball that hooks less, go cross lane at the 4-7 with a lot of speed. And if anybody can get a lot of speed on a bowling ball, it's this guy. He can flat whistle it down there.
In this event in '82 and '83, he just missed, finishing 2nd.
Zip bang.
He's asked for a re-rack on 21.
Now that, as opposed to the way Gary Skidmore asked for the re-rack, is the proper way. Now, he did not pick up the ball before he asked for it. Gary Skidmore picked up the ball, and by PBA rules, once you pick up the ball, you're in the progress of making the shot, and you cannot ask for the re-rack at that point. Steve asked before he picked up the ball. Now he's ready to go on lane 21, on a spare, 8th frame.
Well, he tried to get that one to hurry, and it did.
It doesn't very often not get there when he releases it with that tremendous lift and turn he gets on the ball.
Coming up in a few moments, Earl Anthony's tip for all of you bowlers out there, and talk about hip displacement today.
And that's not an injury, Jay.
No, I know it's not.
What we're talking about get that hip out of the line of the ball as you swing the ball through. You watch these players, they get that ball straight back and through only because they move their hips out of the way. See him move his hips to the side? Perfect form, Tom Baker.
And
watch this.
Oh, he got it.
Tremendous break for Tom Baker. A good shot. Could have had it on the first part of the as the pins reacted. But the pin rolled across and he got it. Now, see the reaction of the same two people there. Here's Tom Baker going to the foul line on the previous shot. See how the ball clears his hip by moving his hips to the side? That's what we're talking about on the tip today. And that's perfect form right there. Watch this. Delayed reaction there. That's that pin rolling across.
Live again on lane 21. Tom Baker on 4 in a row. Chance to close out Steve Cook with a strike right here. Sent it out. Didn't quite get there. That's the shot he threw against Gary Skidmore in the 10th frame on the same lane.
Sure was.
Tough spare, the bucket. 2, 4, 5, 8. He wants the ball to come in between the 2 and the 5 pin, continue on and take out the 8. And there you see it. And there you see Tom Baker going for the spare. Trouble. Crossed it over and got it. All right. Back-to-back breaks for Tom Baker. The strike in the 8th frame and then on the spare in the 9th. Going at a 2:32 clip. Steve Cook with a possible 221. If he strikes 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, he can shoot 221. Not enough if Baker marks in the 10th frame. In order to put the pressure on, Steve Cook must strike all the way from here. He would then make Tom Baker get a mark, any kind of a mark in the 10th to win. Out, way out there. See the tremendous power on that bowling ball, Steve Cook. That 7 pin didn't have a chance. He hit it with the 4 pin coming out of the channel. He hit it with the head pin coming across the lane. Everything happened. Watch the pins fly. See the ball coming in. You see it behind the head pin. The tremendous power. See the head pin coming across. It would have got it no matter what happened. That would have knocked down telephone poles, Jay.
Cook needing another strike, of course.
Steve Cook on a double. 10th frame. Must have every ball a strike to have any chance at all.
Well, he's hanging in there. One more, and he will really put the pressure back on Baker.
Isn't it amazing how well these athletes respond to the pressure? I'm always amazed. I've bowled with them for 14, 15 years on the tour, and it just seems like whenever there's that opportunity to put pressure on one or the other, they respond tremendously well. It makes me kind of proud to be a member of the PBA, Jay.
Well, you should be, and most of them, of course, are very proud to bowl against you. You've put the pressure on your share of them over the years.
All right, still going. See Lisa Baker in the background, Tom's wife, reacting. She knows the score. She knows that if Steve Cook gets this next one, Tom will need a mark in the 10th.
You see the tournament chairman, Harry Golden, checking a re-rack here. And they're going to re-rack.
Now he'll stand there and make sure that Cook is happy with this one before he leaves. Okay, he's agreed to shoot this rack. And here we go, a crucial shot for Steve Cook. If he doesn't strike, the match is over. If he strikes, Steve Cook can then make Tom Baker get at least a spare in the 10th frame with this strike.
Oh, and
6 pin.
6 pin is standing.
He released it well. He was happy with the shot. He knew it was going to break very sharply. He gave it a little extra lift that time, Jay. And as you watch the ball go down the lane, here's Steve Cook going to the foul line. Watch this tremendous lift. See that rotation, that strong wrist? The ball goes out near the channel, breaks very sharply, the 6 pin.
Well, he made a fine run trying to really put the pressure on Baker. A score of 210 for Cook.
So it looks like Tom Baker, again, in the title match, Jay.
Cook misses the opportunity to go against his brother-in-law. When Tom won his last title in Paris in '82, Baker defeated Mike Albee. That affair.
And you can be sure that Mike knows and remembers that.
There's the man at the top. Well, Baker is going to face Mike Albee in our championship match, which will be uninterrupted for you as always. Now, Earl Anthony's bowling tip today on hip replacement.
Many of us have days where we can't seem to keep the ball off the middle of the head pin, and that results in a lot of big splits, impossible spares, and obviously lower scores. The cause of that many times is not getting the hips out of the way so the ball can swing straight through underneath where the hip was. Now, if you don't move the hip out of the way, the ball will come through this area, have to go around the hip,
That's what causes you to pull the ball up to the middle of the head pin. If you get the hips out like this, sliding them to the side, and I'll demonstrate, let the ball come through where that hip was, you can go straight through to your target, have good balance, good accuracy, and consistency. Get to the foul line, make the hips go to the side, the ball can come through where the hip was. Make sure your shoulders are directly over the point of the knee for good balance, good leverage, and very hard-hitting bowling ball. Remember, very important, when you want consistency in your release and a good arm swing, get the hips out of the way so the ball can come through in the displaced area where the hip was.
Hall of Famer Earl Anthony's bowling tip for you this afternoon. 31-year-old Tom Baker, 230 to 210 over Steve Cook. He'll go against Mike Albee, our championship match coming up.
Give me a light. Bud Light.
If you just ask for a light beer...
Hey, can I have a light?
Whoa! You never know what you'll get.
Give me a light.
Bud Light. So if you want a less filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Give me a light.
Ask them to bring out their best.
Bud Light.
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
We made a machine that flattens stomachs. We made a machine that strengthens backs and builds chests and arms. The AJ stomach, back, and arm exercise tones and tightens midsections, strengthens important back muscles, develops arms and chests. From AJ, in many models, they do what you need done.
The NFL plays here when the Patriots battle the Jets.
Before your team takes the field, our team hits the air. NFL 85.
We're back at the Northern Bowl, the Brunswick Memorial World Open, the $150,000 international event, and headed into the final match here this afternoon. Mike Albee and Tom Baker will go at it. In match one, Skidmore over Weber. It was a dandy. And it was Baker defeating Skidmore 235 to 212.
And that was a good match, a key match for Baker because he got his timing together, and just the opposite for Skidmore. Couldn't seem to slow his feet down.
And Baker gets by Steve Cook 230 to 210 to gain the finals. $27,000, the first prize here this afternoon. And Mike Albee making his 9th championship appearance of the year, very, very much in the driver's seat for Player of the Year honors.
Very determined, very strong. He's really bowling extremely well this year. He could go to $199,000 plus in earnings if he wins today and lock up Bowler of the Year, Jay. And I know Mike Albee, even though he won't admit it, he's thinking about it.
And right now, of course, we ought to mention about how the voting is done for that Player of the Year award.
Well, there are actually two of those, Jay. There's a Player of the Year that's voted on by the players themselves, and then, of course, the Bowling Writers Player of the Year. So normally both of those go to the same player if they have a good year. But it's only once in my memory that it's been split, and that was way back when Hardwick and Strampy split it.
Well, this fall tour has been great fun for Earl and certainly for me. And next couple of weeks, we've got lots more action for you. The $150,000 Budweiser Classic next week over in Columbus, Ohio at 2 Eastern Time, 12:30 out on the West Coast. And then we'll end up with the Touring Players Championship, Saginaw, Michigan. The Player of the Year, the money leader, the average leader, it'll all be on the line over the next couple of weeks. Join us in Saginaw on December the 7th. And there they are, shaking hands, Albee and Baker.
Baker will lead off on the left-hand lane, lane 21.
Uninterrupted coverage of the final match, an NBC Sports exclusive that so many of you have indicated you enjoy. Tom Baker, he'll open it up on lane 21.
Likes it.
And he opens up in fine fashion.
Now the terror, Mike Albee. He has really been hot.
Last week in the True Value Open, he was trying to defend his title in his hometown, didn't do it. Finished second. He lost to Darrell Bauer, 213 to 206 in the title match. 2 weeks prior to that, in the Kodak Invitational, he finished fourth.
first shot, Mike Albee and the 7. That's what he's had the problem with all week, as has Steve Cook, the other left-hander, as you watched in the previous match. The problem they've had is they're playing way out near the channel. You see almost the same ball reaction that Steve Cook got, way out, sharp break in the back, and the ball's almost behind the head pin. And quite often you'll leave the 7 pin on that hit. I talked to Mike earlier. I said, what actual hit when the ball comes into the pin area do you feel you have the most confidence in? He says, none of them. He says, you can leave something no matter where the ball is going into the pocket area. So the carry hasn't been good all week long for Mike Albee, but he's been good enough to be the leader. And, you know, Jay, I think an important thing to mention is Mike Albee has led 6 tournaments this year, 6 events, and he's only lost 5 times. I mean, he's only lost once out of those 6. He's won 5 times from the leader, leading position. And here he is again in that position, a chance to win his 6th tournament of the year, and, in my opinion, lock up Bowler of the Year honors.
He won here last year, beating Marshall Holman 241 to 212. And Gary Skidmore, 253 to 241.
Way out near the channel, didn't quite get back, and a difficult spare. The 3-9, tough spare. Mike, I'm sure, will try to go cross lane, way out near the channel again, and let the ball hook back into this spare, try to cover both pins with the ball. You see almost the same trajectory that Steve Cook used, the big lift, big turn, way out near the channel, very sharp break on the back, but not quite enough to get back. Now he's going for the 3-9. Let's see how he handles it. Hooking the ball, out and back, great cover.
Albee, the money leader, $172,800. Weber, of course, in the number 2 spot, followed by Holman and Webb. Weber picking up $5,000 here today.
And here's Baker on lane 22, on a strike, chance to take the early lead. Albee doesn't like to watch his opponent. It bothers his concentration.
Well, he's got an idea of what happened, whether he was watching or not.
Tom Baker now on a double with a 12-pin lead.
Perfect game worth $100,000 from our friends at True Value Hardware. Baker's average this week.
He's averaged 232 today, Jay, just in his first 2 matches.
And 212 on the week. And his high game was 290.
See how he fidgets with the ball. He wants that perfect feel before he's ready to go.
He's got his hands full now. He has a 4-6-7 lead down there.
He does, and as you watch Tom release this shot, he's a little softer with the release, a little slower with the ball. He didn't really get the lift and turn. He wanted to get the ball well down the lane. It breaks a little. He knew it was trouble when he let go. He'll go for just the 4 and the 7. Try to get the count. Doesn't want to give pins away.
Right there's Arnie Fogel, the president of the Brunswick Recreation Centers of America. Arnie, a great friend of bowling. It's been a marvelous week here at the Northern Bowl.
Albee says turn, and he gets him.
The best hit, normally, when you're playing that extreme outside angle, is that light hit. You get the great pin action. The problem is you leave so many 7 pins and corner pins, and sometimes the 6-8 for the left-hander. As you see Mike going to the foul line, good lift and leverage. The ball hits light in the pocket, and they start dancing.
Little back step there by Mike.
Yeah, a little shuffle step there. I don't think any of the bowlers take dancing lessons, do you, Jay? No, that looked pretty good, though.
They can handle it. Albee's high game this year, or I should say this week, 279. He averaged 203.5 on the TV pair.
Take the early lead in the match right here. That looks light. Same exact hit, Jay, and the same reaction. The pins, they just jump all over each other to try to fall down. The power, the rotation, the But Mike Albee's ball going into the pins creates that. Tom Baker playing the other angle as you see Mike Albee's ball coming in. Pins dance, jump on top of each other.
Oh, that's action, isn't it?
It sure is. 3-pound, 6-ounce pins. Match sets we're bowling on this week.
The 2-5 are left for Tom Baker. Just asking him if he had any superstitions. Most athletes do. He said, "No, I don't."
No, that was quick and
a surprise.
To the point, huh?
Yeah.
Now, again, a difficult spare for Tom Baker. The 2-5, very easy to chop it. He wants the ball to hit both pins. Just like that.
Should Albee win today, he would be just $200 short of the $200,000 mark this year, a new record surpassing your old mark, Earl.
Mm-hmm.
Tammy there alongside, and Baker now set on lane 21.
Okay, the track area, as you see, he's left these 6-7s. That's a very difficult shot for Tom. He's going to have to slide the 6 into the 7 to make the spare. The track area, the dry area of the lane is a problem for the players as it breaks down. And Tom doesn't have the speed to overpower that. So he's going to have to make some adjustments. And he's trying to make those adjustments. They're just not working for him yet. And it's getting late in the match. As you can see, cross lane, try to slide the 6 into the 7. Close. Almost got it out of the pit.
He gave it an excellent try.
He's had problems with that wrist. As we mentioned earlier, he does have a wrist problem that he broke a couple years ago. They're going to have to re-break it, reset it.
Yeah, that's what the doctors say.
And that's why he spins that ball the way he does. Instead of staying through it, which requires more wrist strength to go through the middle of the ball and lift it, he tends to spin it, which is a little easier on the wrist, the rotation rather than the lift. But Tom can't develop the speed that's necessary when that track breaks down. He's going to have to make some adjustments and keep the same ball speed in order to get back into the match. Mike Albee on a double.
Albee with a strike. He came right out on tour and won the Rookie of the Year honors. He's now in his 7th year as a PBA member. There is the money situation for the 1985 season, and Albee, if he can win here, will nearly reach that 200,000 mark. 39-22 career championship round for the left-hander from Indianapolis. And another strike. And for Albee, that is 4 in a row. Up by 46.
Up on his toes, Jay, running it out, almost ran into the ball return. Be careful, Mike, don't get hurt.
No. Another split.
And as you know from watching him in the previous, this is his 6th frame. In the 4th frame, the ball came in light. He left the 2-5. This time, he's trying to make the adjustments. The ball comes in through the middle of the head pin. It's Tom Baker's ball, you can see on the screen. Breaks right through the middle of the big 4. 4, 6, 7, 10. He'll go for 2. Hope he might get lucky and bounce one out of the pit.
The second open frame in the match for Baker. And Albee really in the driver's seat for the $27,000 top prize. And of course, if he wins here, as we've mentioned, it will be another giant step toward Player of the Year honors.
It would really put the pressure on the other 2 guys in the running, Marshall Holman and Pete Weber, to win the last 2 events, to have any opportunity at all to be Bowler of the Year.
Gets the strike.
I'll tell you, the way Pete Weber's been bowling, it could happen, Jay. He's been bowling tremendously well.
2 weeks ago at Taylor, Michigan, Tom was the top-seeded player and lost to Pete Weber. Now he battled into the finals and is in real trouble here. There's the prize money already awarded to Cook, Skidmore, and Weber.
Albee is very tough this afternoon. That, for Albee, is 5 in a row.
And almost an insurmountable lead at this point, Jay. Plus 68. In other words, 68 pins ahead. 3 frames to play. Player of the Year honors up for grabs. Mike Albee's aware of that. He knows that if he wins today, he just about locks it up. And, you know, like we said earlier, he isn't talking about it, but he's sure thinking about it. The most prestigious award in professional bowling, Player of the Year.
Didn't get strike number 6. The 3-9 is left, but a nice run for Albee.
A very nice run. The same Sperry left in the second frame. I don't think Mike is getting too nervous, but he's still a little nervous. He's thinking about how he's going to cover this spare, and I don't think he'll have any problem with it. He covered it before. He's aware of how the ball reacts in the center of the lane. Out and back. Just about the only way that Mike Albee could lose this match is if he were to throw some big splits, lose a lot of count, and all kinds of problems go. Tom Baker has a maximum score of 210, and that's if he strikes in the 8th, 9th, and out in the 10th frame. 210 maximum for Baker. Albee going at a 236 clip. Still alive.
Yeah, he's still breathing out there.
Still breathing. Still breathing.
Baker down 56 pins, won the Steve Nagy Sportsmanship Award back in 1981 and in 82. He's one of the most popular players among his fellow pros. Albee as usual, not looking. Another strike for Tom Baker.
Albee has his fate in his own hands. He really doesn't have to worry about what Baker's going to shoot, just what Albee's going to shoot. If he gets up there and gets a couple of spares, it's all over. That's all he has to do.
Albee up by 46 pins.
You see him glance up, check the score. Wants a re-rack. Tournament Director Harry Goldman, go over and check it out.
What a job Harry does. Member of the Hall of Fame, the 85 average leaders, and this has a lot to do, too, with Player of the Year. Holman is there with Weber and Baker and Webb and Albee, and is that a close race?
It is, and that's right up to today, Jay. That's the current standings for the average leaders, and as you see, Pete Weber is now the average leader. Mike Albee very close, and, of course, Marshall Holman. All 3 players in the running for Bowler of the Year. And the 10-pin. That's really all Mike Albee has to do is keep the ball in play. Don't make the big, serious mistake of maybe throwing the ball in the channel or something ridiculous like that. See the ball coming in a little late, gets the pin action off the wall. He's just trying to not get in trouble. Easy spare, Mike Albee, cross lane.
Tammy there on the left, applauding her hubby.
Disappointment on Tom Baker's face. Obviously, he's been in 2 championship matches in the last 3 weeks, and doesn't look like he's going to win any of them.
And he did such a good job in getting here today after defeating Skidmore and
Big Steve Cook. There's your winner, Mike Albee. And I feel, Jay, our Bowler of the Year, I really think he's going to be the Bowler of the Year.
I'm sure of it. That is his 12th PBA title. And Mike Albee gets the victory and the $27,000 first prize. And coming up, of course, we'll have an opportunity to pass out the money. And we'll get a chance to talk with Mike Albee. Last week, he wasn't able to do the job as the young man from Pennsylvania, Darrell Bauer, got him. But Albee is the winner of this 85 Brunswick Memorial World Open. We'll be back with more right after these messages.
Whether you just turned 10 or just turned pro, there's a Brunswick ball built for you. And the weight you need, the colors you want, for pinpoint accuracy, explosive power, built to take out pins like a charge of dynamite. That's Brunswick.
LT48 GTB and the new laser. See these and our other great bowling balls as your authorized Brunswick dealer.
Raise your hand. You got it. Raise your hand. You know it. You feel confident, secure.
If you want to feel confident, raise your hand. If you want to feel secure, raise your hand. If you want protection that helps you feel dry all day.
What's new under the backboard and above the hoop? Find out who's hot and who's not on an Al McGuire preseason basketball special on NBC.
Which camera is not ready? Not ready.
The PBA Ball Tour has been sponsored by Brunswick, making bowling better. By Sure, you can raise your hand if you're sure, because Sure Antiperspirant helps keep you dry. By Kodak, Kodak Film, because time goes by. And by Budweiser, Beechwood aids for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. All right, we're back here again in Glendale Heights, Illinois. And Mike Albee has won a big one today. Jim Urbanek will present the prize money. He is, of course, the big man at Brunswick. Pass out the money.
Thank you very much. Mike, it's great to see you win this thing. I understand it put you within $200 of being the first $200,000 winner. Congratulations again.
Thank you very much, Jim.
All right, congratulations, Mike. We've got to go. Join us next week. So long.
A promotional fee has been paid to NBC by United Airlines. You're not just flying. You're flying the friend.